Hey everyone, I'm back with another free scrapbooking sketch that I'm sharing via email. I'd love it if you would join my email list. The link is down in the description below. And every month I share another 2-page layout that you can just follow the instructions and create a beautiful 2-page layout. This month I'm actually sharing this design with you. And I've actually created a new video that walks you through step by step how I created this one with some really great ideas for some fun journaling, just some creating some really unique clusters down here in the corner, and of course using flip flaps to get more pictures onto your scrapbooking pages, but also to get your journaling, your story told in really fun, unique ways. So I'm going to drop you down on the table right now, and I'm going to walk you through how to actually create and how my process for creating this 2-page layout. So let's get started. So if you're new to scrapbooking, I want to walk you through the process that I go through when I am getting ready to document my pictures and my story. And I start with the picture sizes and I print my own pictures from home. I will leave in the comments below how I print my photos at home with my Epson PictureMate 400, and I love it. And then I can even print out 4x4s from a 4x6, and you just trim them down, which really makes it easy when you're wanting to just focus in on and just kind of clean up the pictures, so to speak. So these are the pictures from the event that I'm going to document. It was my sister's birthdays. They are 10 years apart. One was born on the 1st of August, one was born on the 3rd, and we always love to get together and do something fun. And they happen to have the Friends exhibit at our local mall. And so we went to that, and I wanted to document these pictures. It's been a couple of years since we were there, and I felt it was time to finally get these pictures and document them. So this is the paper, designer series paper that I chose to use, which are these just gorgeous coffee themed papers. It's going to be a lot of fun to really accent my pictures. And although they're not the perfect match for this, it doesn't matter, because you're going to see how beautifully just pulling certain colors from this DSP is really going to make these pictures pop. So I'm really excited to get started. And I always start with a sketch, and this happens to be the one that I'm using this month as my freebie. So please make sure that you join my email list, because it's the only way you're going to receive that free guide. So we're going to go ahead and get started and start cutting up this beautiful designer series paper. And look at these gorgeous coordinating solid cardstocks, which are truly just going to make these pictures pop. I'm super excited. Let's go ahead and get started. So let me help you understand which designer series papers I'm going to use. I'm definitely using the stripe. I am definitely going to use this coffee icon paper. I'm actually going to use the watermark. And so you can see on these papers that, I guess I should start with that, is just understanding that these are the backs and the fronts of the designer series papers. And so, let's bring this back in. We've got these icons, and then this one is the opposite. So when you get these designer series papers, you are going to get a wide assortment. This is the back of this, or the front, right? Front, back, front, back, front, back, front, back, and then front and back. So I knew that I wanted to use this stripe. I also knew that I wanted to use this. And I absolutely loved this as well because of the colors that are in my shorts. It's kind of like that orangey kind of coral color. And then my girlfriend Tammy and my sister were wearing something that had kind of similar hues. So I knew I wanted to use those three together. And then I also really liked this coffee paper as well. And I knew that if I was, and I loved this one too with the white. So I know that my base is going to be this gorgeous early espresso cardstock. And I think what I'm going to do is have this be the accent on the paper. And then we're going to use these other 3 papers. So let's start cutting. We're first going to gut the inside of this 12 by 12 of the early espresso. So I want to walk you through how to do that. I've taught this several times on other videos, but I thought I would just start fresh with the new year with a new video. So we're going to line up the design or the cardstock at the 1 inch mark. Right over here, you can see that there is a 1 inch mark on your paper trimmer. We're going to line that up, and we're going to start at the 1 inch mark right here on the trimmer, and we're going to come all the way over to the 11 inch. And we're basically cutting a 10 by 10 square. And then we're just going to pick this up and keep moving this. So we're going to put it back in at the 1 inch mark, and we're going to do the same thing. Bring this down to the 1 inch mark, and then cut it all the way to the 11 inch. Just keep picking it up and moving it. And it's okay if it's not perfect and you didn't get that initial cut. We can always take our snips and trim that. But it looks like so far I'm doing a great job. Okay, we're going to line this up again, 1 inch. And the reason for doing this is it just really helps you stretch your cardstock and not have to use. So that one's not 100% cut. So we're just going to take these snips right here and we're just going to help it just a little bit right there. Make sure that you get right into that edge so that it's a straight line. I'll just bring it over here so you can see it on camera. There we go. And that way we can now take this and use it for our photo mats. And this is what you're left with, is this beautiful square that has the center cut out of it. And hopefully, let me just move my camera just a smidge up for you so that you can see this better in full view. And so there is my base that we're going to start with, and then we're going to trim the cardstock that goes on this. And then I'll show you my little tip and trick for attaching it to this. Let me just get that lined up. So the next one, we're going to go ahead and cut the second one. And I'm going to speed this up for you so that you don't have to watch every moment. We'll just make it a little bit faster for you. Now we are ready to go ahead and attach. And we're going to trim these down first to 11.5 by 11.5, and then we're going to attach them to this. I'm going to line up the designer series paper so that they're going in the right direction, and I noticed one of them wasn't. That's why I turned it around, and then I pulled out the arm of the paper trimmer so that I could get that measurement perfectly. I'm going to use the tear tape adhesive by Stampin' Up. I love the size of it. I love how easy it is to use. I just am going to pull this little piece right here, and we're going to attach it right to the edge of the inside of that square that I cut. And then I'm just going to use my snips, kind of cut it at an angle. And we're going to do that all the way around. And then I'm going to take your pick tool, and we're going to just gently lift that up on each side as I am attaching this. So we've got one more side to go. And then one more over here. I try to get as close to that edge as possible. And then I'm going to make sure to line this up now in this inside of my Versamat. I've got my take your pick tool right here. And then I want to make sure that this is lined up with 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And so what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the 1/4 of an inch on all 4 sides to make sure that those are even. And if I have to, just kind of move it a smidge if necessary. And I'm pretty happy. I'm very happy with the way that is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your pick tool. You just want to make sure that your hand is steady. So I'm going to lift up on the bottom. I think that's going to be an easier start. And I'm just pulling that out from underneath me. And that worked beautifully. So now I'm going to just turn my mat so that I can see this better in front of me. And we're going to just keep lifting up where that tear tape is. You can kind of see it's peeking out when you're lifting up, but I love doing that because it really helps to get it stuck and stay in place. So it makes it so much easier when you've got this little tool to kind of help you. And one more, and then we'll be able to do the second page. Just pull that little guy out. Voila. Okay. Second page will be a much easier feat. I went ahead and put the tear tape on my second page. We're going to lay this down just like we did the first one, but I'm going to start down here at the bottom because that was a great little trick for me that just really helped me keep my hand steady on this part. I'm going to go ahead and lift up where the tear tape is under here, and it's going to just come together so much faster than this last one did because I was able to have just a much steadier hand. So I'm just getting this lid on here. It kind of swivels a little bit on me. And that's all right. So let me just lift up. I might have to go from this corner because it's tacked down pretty well in this other corner. So I'm just going to pull that towards me, press that down, and then just keep turning this. I really love this Take Your Pick tool. For those of you that don't have it, it is like a must-have now in my craft arsenal. Such a great invention. And it just really makes crafting so much easier. Okay, now we are ready to go ahead and start cutting these gorgeous designer series papers. And let's start with this pattern one because this one's going to be in the middle. I'm going to grab my paper trimmer, and we need 2 pieces of this that are 4 by 11. So I'm going to turn this in right here at the 4-inch mark. Get that straight so you guys can see. So I'm going to cut this one and then another one. And then we're going to set that off to the side. And now we're going to turn this to the 11-inch mark. And go ahead and cut both of those. So I've got those now. We're going to use this stripe up at the top. And it's going to be 2 by 8.5. Pull this in right here at the 8.5-inch mark. Cut those. And then the last one that I need is this fabulous bean, and it's going to be on the bottom. And we need a 4x4 and an 8x4. So I am going to do the 4x4, and then it will also create my 8x4. So now let's go ahead and get those pieces set up. I have everything lined out. The left page I like to start with first. I've already got it onto my Versamat, and we are going to start this one at 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, and then this one is going to go right next to it. This piece will go right like that. This one will go like that. And then we're going to end with these. And oh my gosh, those look so good. And then we're going to do some photo matting, get the photo mats on here with the negative space that was left over from these early espresso sheets. And then we're going to get some other die cuts and some other embellishments on. So let's go ahead and tack these down. We're going to start with the bean DSP, again 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, and we're flush with the right side of the left page. And then we're going to add the coffee cup DSP directly above it, and then the stripe DSP. And just get that lined up so that it matches and is even. And then we're going to start with the right page. I like to line them up right next to each other so that both DSPs are equal. So that just takes a little finagling, and then again, just keep repeating those other two, and that's all for that section. The next step is to now cut the photo mats, and out of this piece of 10 by 10 early espresso cardstock, we are going to be cutting 2 of the large ones, 1 of the small ones, and then a large and a small out of this one because we won't have enough room. So I'm coming up here to the 1/4 inch mark first to cut the 6 1/4, and then we're going to cut 2 4 1/4. And then this piece is going to be 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So let's go ahead and just cut the 4 1/4 here. That way I can use this one again. Maybe I can even cut the other 4 1/4 out of this one. Just seeing which one isn't as shard. My poor paper trimmer needs to be replaced, the blade. So let's do this one. 3 1/4, because now we can actually get 4 of these mats out of this one 10 by 10, and then that way got very minimal scraps left over. Then I can just cut 1 of the 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and now I've got a nice big viable piece that I can use for another project. And again, just get that up there. And, you know, I have a lot of flip-flops that I'm going to be using today, so I think that I may even use some of these leftover pieces for the inside of my flip-flops. So now I'm going to go ahead and get this lined up where I want my photo mats. I'm just double-checking to make sure that you can see this. These 2 are going to go right like this. And then this little guy is going to kind of hang over here, and then this one is going to go like that, and this one is going to go like that. Very happy with that. And then I am so excited, you guys. Oh my goodness, the meant to be dies, the hexagons. Oh my word, look at how substantial, first of all, how large these dies are, but look at how many you get. And we are going to be working with these 2, which is a 4 inch and almost a, I think it's, let's see, let's just lay these down and I'll tell you. This is the 4 inch one, and then this one is the 3 inch one. And so this little guy is going to get cut over down here, and then this one is going to get placed down over here. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring in the pattern paper that I have left over. Whoops, as you hear things falling over here in my office. Okay, so these are the DSPs that we have left over that we haven't used. And I know that I definitely won't be doing this particular one because of it matching too much to this. But I wanted to bring in these other ones and just see which ones do we like. to kind of complement this. And I may even actually go just with solid cardstock. In fact, here is the cardstocks. And I think my heart is leaning towards this one or even this one, but this might be too matchy-matchy for the bean paper. And that one is actually really cool too. So let's take a look at what a couple of these would look like cut out with that die. And then I think what I do want to do is have this possibly even be the inside of it once it's matted on a piece of the cardstock. Oh, this is going to be fun. Let's talk about some of the elements that I used here for the coffee icons that are here and here. I used the die set from the Love Latte set, and isn't this the coolest thing? They cut out the coffee cups with the die, so it made it really easy. And this is such fabulous paper. I still would use this strip for something else. But isn't it just so awesome to have a die that coordinates with the Designer Series paper? And that's one thing that I really, truly love about Stampin' Up! Is the fact that these dies match their Designer Series paper to cut things out so intricately and so perfectly. And then to create these hexagons down here, I used, like I said earlier, these two, and I love that you get additional pieces. You get a negative space and a positive space. When I cut the larger one, I got both of these, and I only needed this one for the Lost Lagoon. And likewise for the plaid, I only needed the negative space. I didn't need the positive space. So I'll be using those for another project. And I want to give you a little trick that I did for attaching these together to make it easier for moving them around on your page. Just take some of the tear tape and tape them all the way around on your two cutout pieces. And then for my date and for a little bit of my subtitles and titles, because I used my own handwriting, which I'm not always fond of, but I did it anyway, and used the Early Espresso. And I just noticed that I need to trim this one off on the side because I didn't do that on there. So let me find my snips that are here. They're literally probably right in front of my face too. Ah, here they are. I'm just going to trim this one off right here. And that one's going to go there. This one's going to go over here, but let's attach these two die cut pieces first. And I'm actually pretty happy with how that choice went. It was my first option that I went with, and I actually really liked how these two combinations worked together. So I'm just laying the die, the negative and the positive together just like that. And then I'm going to just start taking some of the tear tape. Once you get the first one down, it makes it so much easier to get all the other pieces down. I'm just kind of pressing it together so that it will stay together. And then just go all the way around. And now those two pieces are joined and they will not come apart while you are deciding on placement and then finally sticking it into the final place where you want it. I thought that was a really great tip to share with everyone. And now it just makes it so much easier to move the two pieces around. Another thing that I wanted to highlight for you are the use of flip flaps. And I decided to go ahead and add a border for this Early Espresso piece and this one because I have so many pictures and I'm going to be using the 3x4 flip flaps for those. And while we're at it, let me just walk you through how quickly and easy it is to use flip flaps onto your pages. I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal Plus to attach my photo mat right onto the early espresso. And then I'm going to attach this page, or this picture, I should say, right here in the center. And then this is the one that's going to stay on the page. And let me just get that lined up a little bit better. And then here's my one of the flip flaps. I think I'm going to be using 2 of them on this page, which I love that you can layer your flip flaps. So this one is going to go on here. This is my niece, Ashley. This is my girlfriend, Tammy. This one is going to go on there. And then I have this picture that I want to be on top. And then I have this picture. No particular order of when we went through the exhibit, just some of my favorite pictures. And so did you notice that I flipped this one like so, because the flip flap is going to flip. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the adhesive on there like so. And then for the first one, we're going to stick this one in. And then for my page protector, we're going to peel off this little adhesive piece and then stick it onto the page protector. And then the same for this one. I'm actually going to do my journaling in here. And the beautiful thing about this is that this one is actually going to get stuck onto there first, just like so. And then I'm going to peel this and then stick it onto my page protector. And then they will go just like so. And I've got the same thing for my 4x6s. I am going to be using this orientation for these. And I am not going to put page or a mat on these. I'm going to just use them just the way they are. So I'm going to stick these into the flip flap. And that's one thing I absolutely love about flip flaps, is they just make it so easy to get so many more pictures onto your page without actually having to scrapbook them. And then, so this one is going to flip like that. So I want that like that. And then I'm going to do this one in here. I'll probably find another picture to go in here because I literally have so many pictures. And then for this, we're going to attach this one right onto, oh, I know what. I know where it is. I need to go find it. It's the first picture of us all sitting on the couch together. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, never mind, you guys. I'm sorry. Totally forgot. Yes, this one is going to go, again, they're going to get attached, and then these are going to go right on top. And then let's do the same thing for these. I'm so happy about how many pictures I am getting onto this scrapbook layout. And then the other thing that I added, as you can see, because it's not attached yet, is the glimmer paper. And oh my gosh, is this not the perfect color? This package, if it's still available, it is on clearance in the retired section. It's a steal of a deal, and you get 2 sheets each, and there's one other color in here. Let me just open, or let's just turn it over. You get Highland Heather, Petal Pink, and the Pretty Peacock. Oh my gosh, was this not like the perfect color for this? And let's go ahead and attach those down, and then we can get the rest of the pictures done. I'm going to go ahead and use the tear tape on these narrow strips of glimmer paper. They're just the same size as the glimmer paper, so you might need to just kind of fold over the tear tape just a smidge. And I noticed that on the second one that it was hanging over just a little bit, so I did have to adjust that. But I'm using the Take Your Pick tool again to remove that adhesive backing, which is really a time saver. And after getting the glimmer paper down, now I'm ready to go ahead and start putting the decorative elements down. I'm using the Take Your Pick tool to remove all the adhesive backing on those hexagon elements. And then I'm using dimensionals to pop up the coffee icon images. And that Take Your Pick tool is just such a great tool for lifting up the backing of the adhesive. And then I'm going to do the same thing on my titles and subtitles, and then I'm using those adhesive backed swirl dots that match this Latte Love Designer Series paper, and I'm using the darker one that's more closest to the Early Espresso. And then I'm just attaching my photos where I want them on the left page, and getting my flip flaps ready to be attached. And now we're going to finish up the right page by doing the same thing with the photo mats. And I'm just expanding this so that you can see that I like to put the left page next to the right page when I'm putting down my photo mats so that they are evenly distributed and have the same basically inches between them, which is usually typically about a half of an inch or a quarter of an inch, really a quarter of an inch around the border of each of the photos. And then once I get those done, I'm going to attach these 3x4 photos onto the photo mats. I'm moving that one over slightly. It's different than the actual diagram, the sketch. Because of the flip flaps, I didn't want those overlapping onto the 4x6 photos. And then again, I'm just attaching that smaller hexagon with the tear tape, just removing the backing of it, and then using the dimensionals for that little coffee icon and then the subtitle. And then using the darker of those adhesive back swirl dots, which are so cute. They're the perfect accent for this. And I just decided that I had the wrong coffee icon, which was supposed to go up at the top, and I'm just switching those out very quickly. So you can just really see my process here. You know, it's not perfect. I make mistakes all the time when I'm crafting, and I'll change things halfway through, and that's kind of the beauty of paper crafting. So I got that one tucked in there, and now I'm getting the last of my flip flaps put together. This one is actually going to be stacked with like 3 photos, so I wanted to make sure I had those done, and then I'm getting the last of those flip flaps, the 3x4s, put together for the right page. And then we'll be able to put them right onto a top loading page protector, and I'm going to show you how to do that next. I now have my pages in my top loading page protectors, and I want to walk you through how to adhere your flip flaps onto your pages. Let me get these in the right sequence and the right area where I want them. Actually, these go over here, these go down here, and these go over here. We're going to start with the left side first. We're going to peel off the backing of the bottom one. We are going to peel off the backing of the top one. And they are super sticky, and it is really dry in my house right now because of the dryness and the coldness. But do you see how I just attached those right on top of each other? And now I'm going to gently flip this, make sure that they are lined up together. And then I'm going to come over here to my page protector, and I'm going to lay these down. I just want to make sure that the pictures, I can adjust those after in just a minute. I'm going to just come right over here, and I want to make sure that the flip flap is lined up with the Early Espresso underneath. And look at how awesome my journaling is. Oh my word, you guys. I just figured out how to do this in Canva. And I'm going to share another video on how to do this. And let me just tell you, this is a game changer for me, because I love to tell the story with my pictures, but I don't have space a lot of times to add all the details. And I literally just learned this in just a few minutes in Canva, and I'm going to walk you through my process. So that's the left side. Now let's do the right side. I'm going to just move the page protector on top of each other. I want to make sure that you can see this in here, okay? And then this one, I think those were the only 2, and then these I'm going to use down here. So this one's only going to have 1 flip flap, which is really easy. And this one, we're just going to lay that again right on top of the Early Espresso. And then I'm just going to come back in here and tuck that down so that it lays nice on there. And then we're going to stack 3 of them on top of each other. And I believe Yep, those are the 3 that I want. I actually found this picture. Oh no, it wasn't that one. It was this picture. I found this one and I had to put it in there. I know we're silly, you guys, but you know what? When else are you going to be silly than when you're celebrating a birthday with your sisters? So we're sticking those 2 together like that. Pulling off that last one if it'll detach from my hand. I love that you can stack flip-flaps on top of each other. It truly makes it for a really fun and... Sorry, this is not wanting to come off of me. It makes for a really fun and interactive album. So now let's get this right on top of this page protector. Whoops. And if you have to, they are forgivable. I'm just here to tell you, the first 1 or 2 times you have to lift up, they are forgiving. And then just come back in there and just tuck those in if you have to, if they're not sticking the way you want to. But oh my gosh, look at how awesome that is, right? So that's that side. And now, and they do kind of pop up a little bit, but once they get inside your album, and you can come in here and kind of tuck those down so that they lay a little bit more flat. But once it gets into my album, it's going to be fine. I'm really not worried about that. And then this one, I've got 3 as well. And oh, here is my other journaling. Look at that. Look at how awesome that is. And look at those sweet little cups that I added as little die cut accents. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to teach you guys this. This is so fun. I love learning new things every day, especially when it comes to finding simpler, easier ways to do the things that I enjoy doing, which is scrapbooking, paper crafting, card making, and now putting my journaling into my albums. Okay, this is the last one. And again, we're gonna just flip it. And you can even crease those, you know, to get them to lay a little bit flatter too. And I'm gonna bring those right over here, just like that. And again, if you have to, pick it up and adjust it. It's not as easy when you're literally standing on top of this and you want to make sure that it's lined up right. And like I said, you've got a couple of minutes of wiggle room before it really stays down. There we go. Much better. And then just press that on there really good so that they stick. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I hope that this was a really great learning experience for you and you saw quickly and easily how it is to create beautiful custom pages, add all of those pictures, add that journaling, and really, truly memory keeping at its finest, especially when it comes to using flip-flaps. If you ever wonder what's going in my brain when I'm working and doing some of the journaling and also some of the decorative elements, I just wanted to kind of walk you through my process. The Calypso Coral really caught my eye. It was a color that I was wearing in my shorts. It also really paired nicely with my girlfriend's red pants. They really are so similar. And so I thought, you know what? I need to add a little bit more coral around the journaling because it just was kind of playing by itself, right? Like it just needed a little something else. And so I thought, okay, I'll add these 2 little cups down here in the bottom corner. Well, then I was like, okay, well now I need to add them over here. So I'm going to quickly just take the press and seal over here off to the side so I don't get them onto my page protector. And I'm just going to carefully add adhesive to the back of these coffee cups. And this is the Press and Seal Plus, so we know it is not going to go anywhere. And I just thought it was kind of cute to have the, let me just get this tape where I want it. I thought it was really fun to just add these little cups up here at the top and kind of have them touching. And then kind of do the same thing with these. Just like that. And there you go. You just have another really great decorative element that is now part of the journaling. And I can stick it back in here and it's got another cohesive look to it from this side to this side.